Mallory, thank you. Earlier on 2 News at 6, 2 News Investigates told you about Daniel Wayne Clark, the Department of Natural Resources, or DNR employee who was indicted for allegedly embezzling more than $1.3 million from Utah state parks.
And tonight, the plea deal made by the state has taxpayers outraged. Chief Investigative Reporter Wendy Halloran has been digging into the plea deal Utah Attorney General gave to Clark. Wendy.
Well, Jamie and Heidi, Clark admitted he illegally awarded improvement contracts to his own business and claimed he paved state park roads in secret. That's never been proven. The AG's office signed off on a deal where Clark paid only $25,000 in restitution. And it's unclear where that $1.3 million went and if it'll ever be recovered.
Where's our money?
Lorraine Vernon wants to know why Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes agreed to a plea deal with former Department of Natural Resources employee Daniel Wayne Clark.
Why aren't you doing your job?
Clark admitted he stole $1.3 million from the state, awarding his own company, Colt Paving, bids and providing fraudulent invoices for paving work he ultimately did not do.
It just amazes me that the AG would be so lenient.
A former Department of Defense contract negotiator, Vernon, is outraged by the plea deal.
I mean, if we didn't pay our taxes, would we get that kind of leniency?
Clark only pled guilty to 2 counts of felony communication fraud. In exchange, he received no prison time, 2 years probation, and $25,000 restitution. That means he has to pay back less than 2% of the money he stole.
That is a shocker to me. I think it's outrageous.
Former Utah Attorney General Mark Shurtleff says Reyes is responsible for safeguarding the taxpayers' money. He called this a sweetheart deal and doesn't understand why Reyes would offer it.
What would you say to Attorney General Reyes?
I'd say explain yourself.
We contacted the AG's office more than a dozen times between August and November, even showed up at the Capitol twice. Reyes refused to talk to me. In an email statement to 2 News, his office ultimately blamed the courts and sentencing guidelines, saying they faced a wait of 2 to 3 years for trial. The age of some evidence complicated charging older offenses. Even with a conviction, the AG's office says Clark would have been unlikely to face prison time and unlikely to pay significant criminal restitution.
I know that special agent. He worked for my office who put that together, and it is as detailed as I've ever seen. They had a lot of evidence in this case.
2 News Investigates obtained internal emails between Clark's attorney Walter Bugden and AG prosecutors. Bugden claims his client secretly performed the paving work, but didn't disclose that he was improperly awarding contracts to himself. But in his plea deal, Clark admits he was paid for work that was not completed at Rockport State Park in March and November 2019.
I think the worst thing about this is the example it sets.
So it's a blueprint for other state employees.
Blueprint for other people how to do it. To give him the less than the slap on the wrist and send a message to every other state employee who has that ability, gosh, maybe I can get away with this. It's worth $1 million.
Now, the Attorney General has repeatedly declined to answer questions about this plea deal. We still want to sit down with Sean Reyes to find out why the state would settle for such a small amount of restitution in this case. We reached out to both Daniel Wayne Clark and his attorney Walter Bugden for comment. Bugden declined to comment.